Hello everyone. Welcome for attending this conference. So it will be in English. Thanks for the people face-to-face here. And welcome to everyone attending online. Just a quick introduction. So I am Mathieu Arquier, Academic Director of the Master in Digital Twins for Cities and Infrastructures. And it's with great pleasure we welcome Jérôme Lewick from Bouygues to give this second lecture. This second conference is in the series of conferences included inside the master. First of all, I want to thank everyone at École des Ponts organizing this conference and all the organization team. Obviously, I want to thank Jérôme for doing the lecture. Just for the organization, Jérôme will talk around 35-40 minutes, and then we will have a question and answers. So for people inside the room, we can give you the microphone if you have questions at the end. For people attending online, I will monitor the chat, so you can write question if you want. You have to find the bubble button inside the chat to write your question, and if you don't see it, it's normal. I'm the only one who can see the questions, actually. And I will read them at the end for the question and answer session. So Jérôme Lewick is a digital twin project manager at Bouygues Construction with a strong background in construction and project management. He has extensive experience in implementing digital technologies, particularly in the field of BIM. And did a quick mention to some students of the Master BIM of École des Ponts with us today in the room. And the director of the Master, also Olivier, thank you for being here. Also, Jérôme has successfully led the adoption of BIM on large-scale projects at Bouygues. And he is very motivated and passionate about exploring the potential of emerging technologies in the construction industry. Jérôme's expertise and dedication make him a valuable contributor to the field of digital twin development. And we can't wait to hear you talking about the digital twin, your insight, definition, framework, and opportunities for the construction industry. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mathieu, and thank you, Jeremy, for the invitation. It's a great pleasure for me to be here at École des Ponts for this conference. We will explore together our understanding at Bouygues Construction of the topic of digital twin, the definition, framework, and opportunities for the construction industry. My name is Jérôme Lewick. I am a digital twin project manager at the Research and Development Department of Bouygues Construction. And as Mathieu said, I have a background of more than 10 years in BIM. I was previously coordinator BIM manager, and head of BIM department in Bouygues Bâtiment Nord-Est, a sub-company of Bouygues Construction Group. Just a few words about Bouygues. Bouygues is a diversified group with 4 main branches. The first one is construction with Bouygues Immobilier, Colas, and Bouygues Construction. The second one is energy and services with Equans. The third one is media with TF1 Le Groupe, and the last one is telecoms with Bouygues Telecom. I am from Bouygues Construction in the construction branch of the group. We have more than 32,000 employees operating across 60 countries, and we design, build, and rehabilitate infrastructures and buildings all around the world. Our team's commitment is based on 3 core principles: safety culture, respect of human rights, and ethics. This is where we work. The name of The office of Bouygues Construction, the headquarters, is Challenger. It's located in Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines, southwest of Paris. And it's a really impressive place. And yeah, it was built in the 80s, and we have all the activities of Bouygues Construction located in this headquarters. A few words about our signature projects. Even if I am not a big fan of Paris Saint-Germain, the first one is Le Parc des Princes. It's not only a sporting icon, but also a symbol of architectural innovation, and it's one of the first major projects of Bouygues Construction. The second one is the Pacific Place complex in Hong Kong. It's one of the first major projects for Bouygues in Asia. Next, the Channel Tunnel connecting France and UK. It's an engineering marvel. And the last one is Hong Kong Zhuhai Macau Bridge. It's a recent addition to our portfolio that show our dedication to expanding connectivities. Our flagship projects in 2023, the first one is the offshore wind farm in Fécamp in France. It's an impressive installation of 71 wind turbines with a combined capacity of approximately 500 megawatts. The second one is Merdeka 118. It's the second tallest tower on Earth. And our sub-company, VSL, contributed to this project by erecting the spire on the top of this building. The third project is Grand Paris Express. We have many stations and yeah, we actively work on Grand Paris Express projects. And the last one is the Aquatic Center of the 2024 Olympic Games. And I had the privilege of visiting this construction site last year, and it's truly incredible because there is an immense timber roof that spans 80 meters. It's a really impressive project. I work at the Research and Development Department of Bouygues Construction, and we have different sectors. And my sector is the Design Lab. We have two main goals. The first one is to optimize the design of our projects, and the second one is to identify the potential of new technologies. And we are advancing solutions that will define the future of construction industry, like virtual reality, augmented reality, 3D scanning, digital twins, and also design optimization. Now that you know everything about Bouygues, I want to talk about digital twins. I will show you a quick video that introduces the history of digital twins and the future application in construction.
5, 4, 3, 1, 0. We have commit and we have liftoff at 2:13. The Saturn V building up to 7.6 million pounds of thrust, and it is cleared the tower.
On this short video, you've seen different applications of digital twins in different industries like manufacturing, pharmaceutical, rail transportation. And a few months ago, we worked on a definition of what is a digital twin for brick construction. And we've seen that from the different actors on the other industries and also the new actors from the construction industry, there is common criteria on the definition. This is our definition, and a digital twin is a live coupling of the state of a physical asset or process to a virtual representation with a functional output. On every definition, there is a link between a physical asset and his virtual representation. And on many definitions, there is also another criteria that is common to the definitions. It's the time. A digital twin reflects the current progress and performance, recalls the past events, and design intent and project future project future life cycle events. So the first important criteria is the transcription for something physical to something virtual, and also the data that will be linked to this virtual twin that will help us to have a better understanding of the past event, what happened now, and what will be happen in the future. A digital twin is based on three main pillars. We have a physical project in a real world, a virtual project in a virtual space, and a connection of data and information that links the two spaces. That's what you see on the screen. We propose the following architecture for digital twin in construction industry. We have the data sources. It could be IoT sensors. It could be laser scanner or video. They are key enabler for a digital twin solution because they provide real-time information of what happens in the design or in the construction site. We also have external sources. They provide data about as-planned asset and other contextual information. It could be weather data or sustainable data from external database. We have the digital twin platform. This digital twin platform will aggregate visualization and the treatment of the data. And just a word about the use cases, what we can do. This is the business's application, implementing use cases, deliver value for the different users. There is various application in the construction industry. It could be optimize the design, optimize the construction phase, and so on. Just to clarify the difference between BIM and digital twin, BIM, Building Information Modeling, is a process for creating and managing information on a construction process. So BIM is a process to make 3D models, and a digital twin establishes the link between between a physical asset and his virtual representation. Just about that, a digital twin is not only necessarily linked to a BIM process. A digital BIM could be a 2D representation. It could be a map, for example, or also a process. It could be a diagram. But the most important is to be connected with the physical assets. But I have more than 10 years background of BIM, and I am convinced that BIM can help us to deliver more value to our digital twins, because we have data in the 3D objects that we can reuse in the digital twin. For example, in this auditorium, we have, if the auditorium is modelized in BIM, we could link the capacity data of this auditorium, and the transition with the digital twin is in this room we can add sensors to see in the real time how many persons there is in this auditorium and compare the two values, the theoretical data in the BIM model and the real-time data with the real-time occupation of the auditorium. So this is the difference, and with the help of the data linked to the object, we can deliver more value on the digital twins. At Bouygues Construction, we think that digital twins will facilitate the convergence between IT, information technology, this is data exchange and storage, OT, operational technology, like sensors, IoT, and also ET, engineering technology, like design or construction softwares and solutions. The application on the different phases of a project, in design stage, we think that digital twin can add value as a real decision-making tool. It will help the teams to make more informated decisions and to have a better understanding of the different aspects of the projects. This picture is a visual from NVIDIA with the platform Omniverse. We link a simulation, a wind simulation, on the environment with a digital twin of the building that we are designing, and this platform allows us to make a simulation of the wind and the impact of the wind on the building that we design. During the construction stage, a digital twin could be a mirror effect of what happens in the construction site and help the teams to take better decision with the contextualized data about safety, quality, planification. And during construction stage, I love to say that one of the more benefit use case of a digital twin is know before you go. With the digital twin, you know what happened in the construction site in real time, and you can take better decisions. And finally, during facility management and operation phase, digital twin enable predictive maintenance and improves equipment and system reliability. We work with Bouygues Energy Service, Bouygues Energy and Services, and Equans, sub-companies from Bouygues Group, to use digital twins during facility management phase. In the last months, we identify the different players around digital twins. First, we identify the softwares from other industries. For example, Siemens, Aveva, Dassault Systèmes with 3D experience. This software were created in an industrial context, different from construction. We also have the data pure players like Microsoft, Amazon, Google Cloud. They provide cloud infrastructure and services for storing, processing, and analyzing large quantities of data. We have the software players from AEC industry, Planon, S3, Spinalcom. They develop specific software solution for construction industry. We also have the use case pure player, for example, Timothy for scheduling, Dalux for site management, and also Hexagon Group. They offer tools tailored to our needs for construction industry. We also have GPU pure players like NVIDIA. They provide highly performant graphic processing in collaboration with cloud computing. We have the digital twin solutions, Autodesk Tandem, Twinit, Twinzo, Teia. They are targeted to specific use cases. And finally, we have a digital twins platform like iTwin, NVIDIA Omniverse, Chain, Varadize. This is an environment to develop what you need. This is more complex than the solutions because you need developers to develop what you need in this platform. But you can create modules and solutions really tailored to your needs. Next, I wanted to talk about the maturity level of digital twins. On the left side of the screen, you have a static twin with cold data, which allow descriptive and informative use cases. This is more similar to 3D modelization or BIM because this is not connected to the physical asset. On the right side of the screen, you have a dynamic twin, which allow predictive, comprehensive, and autonomous twin with hot data. That means it's connected in real time to the physical asset. And as I said previously, I think it's really important to have really good quality of data in the early stages to have better use cases with the digital twin by connecting static data with dynamic data. We also call cold data or hot data. Cold data, it's static, and hot data is dynamic. At Bouygues Construction, we classified the digital twins on two main criteria. The first one, as you see on the top of the screen, is the life cycle. There is three main phases on a project: conception or design, construction, and maintenance. We also have different types of objects: process, asset, and asset in environment. Asset could be a building, an infrastructure, For example, a housing building or a bridge or a tunnel. A process is it's the activities and tasks that support the activities of the life cycle of the project. For example, a supply chain, you have to manufacture a product, then the transportation, and then the delivery on the construction site. And with the digital twin, you can follow the different steps of this supply chain in real time. So this is the process category. And we also have the asset in environment. Asset in environment is, for example, the digital twin of a city that connect different buildings together, or connect different buildings with networks and grids, or also connecting the buildings with weather data. This is asset in environment is not only the building or the infrastructure, but also what happens around the asset. So we use this 9 cases matrix to classify our digital twins. And the digital twin can cover different stage of life cycle, and also different aspects of type of objects. For example, at Bouygues Construction, for the moment, we have some digital twins on our project. And you see there is the little icon with the 9 case matrix that help us to understand what we can do with the digital twin. For example, the first project is Centrale Supélec. We use it during the facility management stage. And this is for the asset, for the building, and it facilitates the ticket monitoring system and real-time data monitoring. In Hong Kong, we have a big infrastructure project, and this is specifically for the construction stage. So that's what you see here. This is in the middle because this is the construction stage, and it's for the asset and the asset in the environment. And this is what they call a smart site management platform. There is IoT sensors on the construction site that helps the engineers to have a better understanding of what happens in the real time in the construction site for quality, scheduling, and safety. And we also have in Lille the city administrative campus, the Cité administrative de Lille, administrative campus of Lille, and it's also for facilities ticket system. And we also have another project in Hong Kong, and there is how can I say? Une obligation, this is mandatory from the client to use a digital twin in Hong Kong for the construction stage to increase safety on the projects. What are the challenges facing digital twins? There is 3 main challenges. The first one is the cost of a digital twin. For smaller businesses and projects, this is complicated to spend money for digital twins because we don't know. This is the second challenge. We don't know what are the ROI, the return on investment. We don't know the tangible benefits of the digital twins. The last one is the process and the stakeholder collaboration. In the IEC industry, we are really fragmented between architects, consultants, companies, and it's difficult to work together on the same platform. So this is the three main challenges that we identified at Bouygues Construction to unlock the real potential of digital twins. Now I wanted to spend some time to share with you reality capture technologies to create digital twins. There is different technologies on the market. We have drones, laser scanners, mobile scanner, and I will try, even if it's not my specialty, I will try to explain how we use which technology for which use case. The first one is a laser scanner. This is the object that you see on the right side of the screen. A laser scanner emits a laser beam that sweeps across the target area, and it's invisible by the eye, and the laser scanner sends millions laser in a few seconds, and with the time between the emission of the laser, the reflecting on the object, and the reception of the laser, it can we can know the distance between the laser and the object. And the laser will do this million times and provide us point cloud. This is millions of points that reflect the surface of the building or in the infrastructure with a big accuracy, like 1 or 2 millimeters. And you can do multiple scans if you have a big building or a big infrastructure, and you can combine them together to have a global point cloud of what you need to scan. The second technology is LiDAR and photogrammetry with drone. Photogrammetry takes a picture, and overlaps of the pictures help the software to generate a point cloud with the height of each point, and you also have a point cloud in color, but the accuracy is not the same as the laser scanner. To have a better accuracy with the drone, you can use LiDAR. This is like a mobile scanner laser that you add to your drone, and it helps us to have a better accuracy. Drones are more used outside of the buildings or the assets with a big space to scan. So it's interesting before to build the building or infrastructure to have the field. For example, to start the 3D modelization, you have all the environment with the height of the ground, the building surrounding what you need to build, and so on. Yeah, this is the difference between photogrammetry and LiDAR. And the last technology that we identified is mobile scanner. Mobile scanner, you can walk inside your buildings, and you just need a starting point target, and endpoint target, and you walk in your building and it's scanning in the same time as you walk, and you scan millions of points. And this is what you see on the screen with Leica, and this is the BLK2GO, the name of the technology on the left side, and Navis on the right side. It's important to know which technology to use to capture the reality. Laser scanner give us a really good accuracy, 1 or 2 millimeter, but the speed of capture is really slow because you have to move your device and have common targets between the different scans position. Photogrammetry have a medium speed of capture and a medium accuracy. And mobile scanner can have a better accuracy than a photogrammetry, and also a good speed of capture because you just have to walk in your building and it scans, and the accuracy is 1 or 2 centimeters. So it can be enough. It depends of which use case, what use case you need. But to create a digital twin, when you have nothing and you just need a quick 3D model to contextualize your data, a mobile scanner can be enough because laser scanners are more used to during the design stage to have really good precision. With the point cloud, you can use software to have 3D modelization. On the left side, this is a point cloud, and on the right side, this is 3D modelization, 3D modeling. At the moment, we do it manually because we haven't found any algorithm or any software able to transform directly point clouds to 3D objects, but we work on it because it could be a good thing to accelerate the time between 3D scanning and 3D modeling. To create many digital twins. That's all for my presentation. Mathieu, I don't know if there is question on the chat or if anyone have question in the audience.
Thank you, Jérôme, for your presentation with a wide scope of all this technology. Actually, I have the first question, if I may. We've seen a lot of issues on digital twins depend on the software solutions, actually. We've seen the slide with all the stakeholders, and actually we are really depending on the software editors. And my question was how all these stakeholders are communicating together, and what about standardization, like a common language, because everyone has his kind of own definition of digital twins and they put what they want. But what are your insights about standardization in the next months, next years, and this thing?
There is different countries that works on norms and standardization for digital twins. For example, in Canada, in Hong Kong, also in the UK, they work to standardize digital twins. And I think, like for the BIM, it will be really important to have norms to classify the data and allow us to make a bridge between different digital twins of infrastructure, of buildings, that can communicate together, digital twins of a city. But as you said, it's only possible if we have norms and standards. For BIM, for example, we have ISO 19650 norm. Maybe in the future we will have something similar for digital twins. And yes, some countries are working on it. Maybe at a European scale there is work groups to think which standards are important for digital twins. But yeah, we will have the results, I think, in 2 or 3 years.
Is there any question in the audience?
Yes, I have questions. How can we place the maturity of digital twins in our area building compared to the other areas like pharmaceutical and other areas? Merci.
It's a really good question. Digital twins in other industries like automotive, pharmaceutical are used since maybe 10 or 15 years, and in construction industry I think it's a buzzword since 1 or 2 years. We are exploring the potential of digital twin at the moment for construction industry, and we can reuse what have been done in other industries. For example, and I mentioned the supply chain, a digital twin of a supply chain. There is use cases like this that we can keep from other industries and reuse it for construction industries. So I think it's not a problem that for construction industry it's 10 years later, because we can learn from the experience of other industries.
There was one question there.
First of all, I want to thank you, Jerome, for this wonderful lecture and this interesting subject. There is actually a very well-known quote by Le Corbusier. He's an architect, French architect. He said, architecture is an inhabited machine. So do you see this digital twin as a futuristic manifestation of this code or not? Yeah.
Thank you for your question. There is a famous research company called Gartner, and 2 or 3 years ago they said that digital twin and artificial intelligence can help us to rethink construction industry, and we have big challenges at the moment for construction industry to build buildings and infrastructure more sustainable, to decrease carbon emissions, and I really think that digital twins, beyond the buzzword, can really help us to achieve these goals. So yeah, I think digital twin will in the next years will help us to rethink the way that we design, build and operate in the buildings and infrastructures.
No, I was asking about the energy consumption, but you were answering that. I was asking if there is any use case for the consumption, energy consumption. I think there is a decree for tertiary building in 2030, and we need to start of thinking about the conception of energy in our buildings. So I was asking if there is any use case for this, for the twin, digital twin.
During the design stage, we can use the digital twin with different sources of data about the weather, the position of the sun, etc., to help us to optimize the building with real-time data. And simulate different scenarios of conception to design the best building regarding the surrounding data of the environment. So I think for the thermal topics, a digital twin is really useful for simulation. It's better to make simulation on a computer and delete the scenarios that are not successful compared to build a building that is not really performant. So yeah, it's for this. It's I think the best use case for digital twin is simulation. Simulate on a computer different scenarios before to start the construction stage.
We have just questions in the chat. So first one, it's he said that so Mohamed said this question seems a little bit utopic, but how close are we to a human digital twin? So it's not in the infrastructure scope, but it's.
Could you repeat the question?
The digital twin of a human being. Okay. How close are we of that?
I haven't seen. Maybe there is a human digital twin. I don't know, but
we have seen in healthcare. We've seen you show that some part of organs, something like that, but not yet the whole body.
Not yet the whole body, but I've seen on different conferences that they can use a virtual replica of a human being to simulate des opérations, surgery, yeah, on a virtual human being, and yeah.
That could be a use case, yes. And another one from Sally Chan. Have you seen the benefit of a digital twin in the quality control or claim process? What are your use cases, assumptions, or suggestions?
About quality control.
Right, about quality control.
It's a good question. I think we can use digital twins to have like a memory of what doesn't work, the problems that we have on different materials, different things that we do on the construction site, and then after we have quality problems, and to reuse this database for the new buildings that we will design, and to have like an alert to say, okay, the architect designed this, for example, a curtain wall linked with a wood structure, and to have an alert to say, okay, there is a potential problem with this regarding the data that we captured from the previous real buildings. Yeah.
Yes, you are from big construction, and we had another lecture for big energy and service. So I'd like to be more specific for the project for in Central Sopelec,
yeah.
Saclay. So he said that after big constructions leave the site with all the data or the information of a digital twin, there's beautiful project, but for site management, they didn't know how to do it. So, what was the solution for this problem? This kind of problem?
About Centrale Supélec, this is a research and development project. This was a proof of concept to use a digital twin on the building with the client, because the building is there is students, and so the final client is inside the building. And the first challenge was for Bouygues Energy and Service was to have a BIM model with all the data field and structure really well. On this project, they asked Socotec to have a certification of the as-built BIM model with all the data and all the geometry. And they spent maybe a year between the date where Bouygues Construction finished the work and the certification, because we had to adapt and change things into the BIM model to have the as-built certification. Then, with this as-built certification, we upload the BIM model into Teia. This is a platform designed by Stereograph. This is a digital twin provider. We try to go step by step. The first use case was to manage the facility management tickets in the digital twin and have the real-time location. For example, in this room there is a problem, and on the digital twin we can see where is located the problem and what the description of the problem. The second step of this research and development project is to connect IoT sensor and also building operating system with the digital twin to have the temperature, the occupancy of the rooms, etc., into the digital twins. So we try to, this is a long time research and development project, but we try to add like bricks every year with a new use case, because it's too complicated to do everything now. And at the same time, we try to train the people, the workers in the building to help us to use the digital twin.
Hello. I started the BIM in 2015, and I'm curious to ask the same question at the BIM. How much is it, the digital twin? Yeah. Because it's always in the BIM it's integrated now, so we have no price, no cost. We don't know exactly the price for different projects. So do you have an idea about or feedback about the cost in digital twin? Because I think it's different in industrial, airport, or different area.
It's a really good question. As you said, at the moment it's difficult to know the price of BIM because it's integrated into the process, and the architect will produce the plans, for example, of the project from the BIM model. So without the BIM model, he's not able to produce the plan. And we have also different use cases like quantity extraction, clash detection, etc., etc. So it's BIM is in the process, and for digital twin it's a bit different because it's at the moment it's not integrated in a process. But a digital twin can help us to reach objectives and create new services to the final client. So it can it can bring money, so the return on investment that I mentioned previously is difficult at the moment to evaluate. But to reply to your question, I know that on really large projects, as I mentioned in Hong Kong, the price of a digital twin can be around 1 million euro. For more simple projects, it could be 100,000 euros. It depends, and you also need, because there is the price of the platform, the developers. If you need BIM as an input to create your digital twin, is it necessary to add the price of the BIM into the digital twin? So it's really difficult, but maybe I will be able to reply to your question in 5 years with when digital twins will be more present in the construction industry.
Yeah, we have maybe for the last question, because time is passing by. So I have one from Antia. What is the impact that the implementation of Bouygues' first digital twins shared in the presentation is generating? What feedback have customers provided about what you've done with digital twins?
About the first digital twin that we've made? Yeah.
At Bouygues, yeah. Are they happy? Are the customer happy or not?
The customers, yeah, are happy, but it's difficult to touch the final customer with the digital twins, because the final customers of buildings are us. We live in the building, we use it, but we are not really connected to the digital twin. So the final customer for us now is more the facility manager. At the moment, he's not happy or unhappy, but we wanted to show the future of the activities of a facility manager, the new tools that he will have to use in 5 or 10 years. So at the moment, this is more a projection. This is why it's a research and development project. But yeah, they love, at Bouygues Construction, people love to try new technologies, and in French, to don't have subir les choses quand elles sont imposées. Je sais pas comment, mais bon, vous m'avez compris. Et well, yeah, we want to anticipate the new technologies.
Okay, maybe one last question.
Hello, thank you. In one of the slides you showed, you explained the difference or the comparison between like the 3 technologies for scanning, photogrammetry and photoscan, laser scan. And I just wanted to ask, in terms of precision, okay, that's clear, but in terms of cost and environmental impact, are there, like, what are the differences? Or
what do you mean by environmental impact?
Because I worked with photogrammetry before, and we scanned like 3D objects, like small objects or statues, or even some big historical sites, and we were told that we needed so many big servers to have the rendu, the render. And that's it. I wanted to know, in terms of environmental impact, servers are very impacting and costly. So,
okay, it's a good question about environmental impact. I think it's the same with all the solutions, because we need to work with a huge amount of data, many gigabytes, because point cloud is really big files. So I think it's almost the same for the different solutions. And your first question was about? Of cost, yeah, of cost. The drone laser scanner is about 40,000 euros. Yeah, it's between 10 and 40,000, maybe with the big precision. So the laser scanner on a tripod can be around 100,000 euros. It depends of the technologies. The cheapest is photogrammetry because there is no scanner. This is only photos, but with accuracy, it's more costly. Yeah.
Okay, thank you everyone for your questions, and we can thank all of us, Jérôme again for the nice presentation.
Thank you.
So this closes our conference. So we will have other events in the next weeks, starting early 2024. So stay tuned if you want to attend physically for the NPC events or online for the next events. Thank you all.